Thank you, Duncan, for that stirring word. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent the past 17 years living in America. And as you know, the hoopla in America, everything is big. And at a function like this, the speaker would probably start out by saying, "Are you all having a good time?" "Can't hear you. Are you all having a good time?" But then the hoopla would go and stuff. But we're a little more reserved and refined, I might say. So I'd just like to say how delighted I am to be back here at Benedict. 55 years since I first set foot in on these allied grounds, 55 years ago. Probably you guys were that old. I went to the school tour yesterday, and not much has changed. Only 55 years. Tough crowd. The transformation is just amazing. This is a colossus of a school. I mean, it's a giant among schools, and I'm really proud to be St. Benedict's alumni. This is just, as I say, a giant of a school, giant among schools. I'd like to congratulate the organizer, Ricardo, on the homecoming, to bring together 55 years of alumni, ranging from dinosaurs like Joan, Dalton, and myself, to youngsters like you guys out there. It's quite something, and you would be congratulated on that. I'm not a motivational speaker. I never have been. I'm a professional golfer. So I can only tell you how my career and life evolved as a golfer. When I was in a trick, I was called to Father Dalton's office, my head master, for a career guidance interview. When you leave school, you need to strive to make a difference in your community, try and contribute to society. Maybe studying to become a doctor or a surgeon and save lives, or a priest and save souls, or an architect, scientist. And I'm thinking, these really commendable professions, but I want to be a professional golfer. I didn't say that Father Dalton, because I don't think he saw much contribution to society as professional golfers. But what it did for me, it actually established a goal for me. As a kid, I probably wanted to be a policeman or a truck driver, a fireman or something. But golf was my passion, and I did want to become a professional golfer, and my goal finally was established for me. If I go to the beginning where it started, I attended primary school at St. Paul's Parochial School in Maryland, and on graduating standard 5, it was time for big school. And my dad was, in fact, he was educated at Nurse Brother Charles. My parents decided to send my brother Brendan and me to this new school of St. Benedict. So Brendan, I'm sure he was very happy about it. He used his St. Benedict's education to go and become a very successful civil engineer and businessman. I was a little concerned about coming to school where I was going to be taught by a Puritan or priest teaching staff. At St. Paul's, I spent 7 years being taught by women in dresses. And I was coming here to spend 5 years being taught by men in black dresses. My concerns obviously related really because the priests were superb educators. They were very strict disciplinarians, but they were very approachable and understanding, and human, and down to earth. I recall Father Benedict at lunch break. He would come out in the schoolyard, hitch his cassock into his belt, and play soccer with us. To do that next slide tackle the whole bit. I mean, he was a real, he was one of the guys, so he was really one of the down-to-earth priests. Then there was Father Tao. He and I would hit golf balls on this field after school. I don't know where that field would be now, just while it's in building, but then he would hit golf balls and play the occasional game of golf. So when the academics obviously were very, very high standard, and they have been always, and will be always at the school. Sports, not so much. We had 3 sports available: cricket, which I was into, tennis I played, and soccer, which was probably my favourite. And we played against teams like England High, Melbourne High, John Anderson, Joan, 9 months of compulsory military training. I don't know when that ended, but I elected to go into the Air Force, and I was ordered to show up here on the 1st of April 1964. Now, that April Fool's Day, the joke was on me because I showed up carrying my golf clubs. And the first instructor I came to said, "What's that? What are you doing?" All in Afrikaans. "What are you carrying there?" And I said, "These are my golf clubs." What are you going to do with those? So I said, "Well, I have to play a bit of golf." He said, "Listen, this is an Air Force camp, not a play camp, it's not a holiday camp. Get rid of those." So my starting military career was not really ignominious, it was rather ignominious rather. And I would like to say I actually went on to become an officer in the fire department, but in fact I didn't. I stayed off. I never again in my whole career. It was 9 months of which dragged by. It wasn't a lot of fun. I guess my most memorable part of it was winning the SA Varsities Golf Championship in Bloemfontein. And the least memorable had to be, I was posted in my job as a security guard to a place called Ellisras, which I absolutely never felt like I wanted to be overseas posting or something. When you go to this place by sitting in a troop carrier for 6 hours, going through places like Benedict and Hammanskraal and Inosofied and Farwater. So it was pretty awful. Anyway, eventually it ended up going, and it came time for me to decide where I was going to go with my life. And my dad and I sat down and he said, "Listen, you want to be a professional golfer, but off chance that it's not a success, I think you should try and achieve a university qualification, so something to fall back on." So I enrolled, I thought I'd start the other top, I enrolled in the engineering faculty, chemical engineering, and maybe my brain was a little addled from 6 months, 9 months of stagnation in the Air Force, but I wasn't very successful as a chemical engineer. So I then switched to the bachelor's degree, BCom, majoring in accounting. And the first year I demolished absolutely. I mean, my report card was littered with 1 A's and 1 first and stuff. I thought it was perfect. I strove into the second year confidently. Unfortunately, things started going a little awry at that stage. I was selected to represent South Africa in a team to play in a tournament in Canada. I'm losing my voice. Tournament in Canada. And I remember, well, it was a 6-man team, and the 6 of us were standing in the concourse prior to taking off. You know, resplendent in our green springbok blazers with the block emblem and golf stroll underneath. And there's a group of young kids came rushing across, saying, "Springbokker, Springbokker." And they saw the scroll and they said, "Ah, nee, this is golf." Anyway, the tournament in Canada, the trip to Canada lasted 3-4 weeks, and I missed a chunk of lectures, obviously. But in fact, I had a girlfriend take lecture notes for me while I was away. I think I probably spent more time with the girlfriend than with her notes, so I didn't quite study the 2 law subjects. So it meant repeating the year. 1968, following year, I was selected for a team to play in the World Amateur in Australia. Unfortunately, this occurred during the exam time, so I got permission to write the subs, which was early the following year. And I didn't work very through it was, I should have anyway, and I passed only the 2 law subjects. So maybe there was a message there, maybe I should have stuck with the law somehow. Anyway, that was the end of my university career, and to my internal discredit, I didn't graduate. So it was on to something more. In fact, the dean of the faculty had to be citizen, the studies are interfering with your golf, maybe you don't play golf. So I took a job which entailed playing golf with clients and prospective clients. And between 67 and 71, it's 1967, not 18. I was kind of a fixture in the Springbok team. We played in Brazil, Argentina, Spain, and life was pretty good. I had a job that would pay me to play golf with customers, and I was traveling around the world, expensive to South New Zealand at the end of 71. And 2 weeks before you leave, I think notice came down from the United Nations that you need to apartheid rules, laws here. South African teams were no longer going to be allowed to compete internationally. We were barred from the event. Excuse me. So, this stage, it looked like I was going to not have to do a pro. But as I said, my goal was eventually to do a pro. So, kind of my goal was not forced upon me, was that's where I wanted to go anyway. So I turned pro in 1971. I played the South African Tour, Sunshine Circuit. I managed to finish third on Alumni, which maybe exempt in Europe, so, which was a big deal because if without an exemption, it means me Monday qualifying. I realize this is good golf stuff, and I hope you guys understand golf. Anyway, I meant I didn't have to pre-qualify Monday, I could go straight into the tournament. And I finished 18th on the European circuit that year. So from 1971 until 1994, I would spend maybe 2-3 months, 4 months in South Africa, playing the South African Tour, and then 5 months in Europe, competing in Europe. I was moderately successful. I won 15 times in South Africa and 7 times in Europe. My best performance in Europe was finishing second to the Departed City Dallas in 77. South Africa, my highlights were winning the Open, Cape Town, and the PGA at one, and something here to play about long time since I remember these things. So, 1994, old age caught up with me. I was 48, I couldn't really compete. When I decided, but I did set another goal for myself. I wanted to compete on the senior tour in America, which is now called the Champions Tour for the over 50. So I took a position at Princess Grant, was head golf director at Princess Grant on the north coast of the town. And the club was in its infancy, so I was able to practice golf and work on my game. And I went across to Jacksonville, Florida. Not the Florida yet, they're going to attend the tour school. And I managed to secure a card which enabled me to play on the tour school, on the tour. And I wasn't moderately successful. I won on 3 occasions. But what I did do, I got to meet some of the greatest players of the era. Bobby Long, Gary Player, Ernie, Teeth, Wilson, as they call him in America, Sam Sneed, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, all the Nick Fowler, all the top players of that era. And maybe I could just share a quick Trevino story with you. Trevino has Spanish, Mexican heritage. He's comes from the Swarthy confection. And he has this beautiful home in Dallas, Texas. And he was pottering around in the front yard with this shovel. And this big SUV pulled up with the tinted windows. And the window was down. And his voice said, "Do you get on with my man?" In an American accent, I had. And Trevino said, "Yes, I do, man." So she said, "And what do you charge?" So he said, "Well, in fact, the lady lives in this house back here, because we sleep with her at night." With that, the window buzzed. While I was playing the tour, the senior tour, we lived in America, in Orlando, my wife and I, Orlando, Florida. We then moved to California once I retired, at 62, in 2008 I retired. Our daughter got married in America. In fact, it was a Hall of Fame baseball player. Not that I made anything, but also had 2 American kids. And now to have American grandkids is actually quite a change in culture. The younger guy, Joshua, he's now 5, he was 4 at the time, he was in the pre-grade class. And what happened was, on the Monday retreat, one of the parents of one of the boys, girls, would read a little story to the rest of the class. And my daughter Lauren went to Josh and said, "Josh, I have this great book. It's a story about Africa. It's called Giraffes Can't Dance." And Josh said, "Mom, you can't read that. Mike, you don't understand it. It's giraffes can dance." We live now in a golf estate in Palm Springs. size of Florida here. And there are 120 golf courses, so it's a golfer's mecca, a tiny little city. And it actually abuts the Mojave Desert, so it's considered to be a desert city. And so it's like the winter playground for all sorts of celebrities come down from Hollywood and Los Angeles, which is maybe 100 miles north. Frank Sinatra and his Rat Pack. Frank had a house there, and he and his Rat Pack sort of roamed, I guess to be the word. Ben Crosby, Bob Hope had homes. Some of the American presidents, Gerald Ford, and they all have named, the streets all named after these guys. So it's actually quite a fancy place. Gerald Ford, President Barack Obama was there a couple of times. And that's where President John F. Kennedy was apparently reputed at his cozy fireside chat with Marilyn Monroe. So I've pretty well retired. I play golf a couple of times a week with my buddies. But now that I do have time, I actually volunteered to drive Marines, the US Marines from Palm Springs Airport to the Marine base in a place called 29 Palms, sort of around maybe 120 kilometers. And so that's kind of my contribution to society. I'm not too sure what the Dalton would appreciate.